Welcome to the True Love Secrets Revealed online summit. Today we have Polina Solda joining us. Polina is the #1 dating coach using personality typing, creator of Love by Design, host of the Find the Right Men podcast, and a life coach school certified coach. What makes Polina approach unique and different from everyone else is that she empowers her clients to find their compatible life partner based on a personalized approach that works specifically for them. Thank you, Polina, for joining us today.
Muchas gracias. Estoy muy emocionada. Oh, okay, we're going to speak English, but so
Otherwise,
great. So good to be here.
thank you. A pleasure to have you. So, the first question is going to be about what are the steps that a woman can take to find the right man?
Mhm. Yeah, so I like to keep everything simple and make it so doable for every woman. And yet, with that simplicity, I think what really works is a customized approach. I use a personality typing in helping my clients because we are different. And what works for one type of woman, the strategy itself might be different from somebody else. But that being said, if we think about uh, the first step, it always starts with us and understanding who you really are. And this is the reason why I use this system. So every woman knows, discovers exactly what her type is, because so many times we hear that just be yourself or just be authentic, but no one really tells us what it means and how to just know yourself and be yourself. And so the system that I use and I teach all of my clients empowers them to really understand and connect to who they really are, their strengths, what really intrinsic motivations and values, and most importantly, what kind of partner is most compatible for them. So when you understand yourself and you accept yourself on the deepest level, you truly can show up authentically and attract not everybody, but the right person for you, your most compatible person, somebody who already looks for the woman you are without you trying to change anything about yourself.
Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. That's music to our ears. You see, we go on dates and this and that, and last thing we want to do is to become phony or somebody that we are not. I love your approach. It's all about authenticity, and I agree with that so much. So, Paulina, I have a question. I got so curious after what you said. Do you mind sharing how many types of women? Is that what you mean? There are
So they're not just women or women and men. So there's just four
uh-huh.
types of people,
Okay.
and that is completely psychology backed. Carl Jung was the first one to come up with those four types, and chances are you already know that some people are more logical,
Right.
while other people are intuitive. Yet there are people who are very emotional, and then there's sensory. So the system that I use is based, it's completely psychology backed, and what's so special and unique, it's like this whole universe that exists, where once you learn it, it's sort of like if there are four continents in the world
Right.
and you understand and you speak the language. So let's say you travel, and actually in your style, so there are four types, just like four cardinal points: north, east, south, and west. So it's very easy to remember. And so inside my program, we created this whole universe where you really like travel to all these different places. So let's go on a little journey together, so you learn about that just a little bit. And actually, what's brilliant about the system, because even if you think about places in the world, so north going to be very logical structure type. And if you think about northern countries, like simplicity and functionality, and east, the type of east people, it's very intuitive, creative,
Mhm.
and different from somebody who's very structured and systematic, because they are generators of ideas. They are creative thinkers. They value freedom more than anything else. So they innovate. And then when we travel to south, so south, like all about emotions and having fun and comfort and connection and love. And then we travel to west, and west is all about getting to that next level, drive, ambition, being number one, and being like ahead of and just making impact and scaling everything they do, right? So growing to that next level. So when you look at it, like when you look at yourself and people from this perspective, you start understanding and seeing the differences and then accept those differences. So communication is no longer, you no longer think just because you are a certain type that everyone else is the same. You start seeing those differences, and it's much easier to connect with people and to understand them and accept them for who they are.
Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it. I love the correlation between north, south, east. I was like, what is she going to say about south? Because, I grew up in the south, and yes, yes, we are very emotional.
But
That,
it's not just geographical. So we can be born
yes, yes.
anywhere. And of course,
Okay.
so what's important, we all have a combination of all
Mhm.
four types. Yet one of them will be most dominant,
Right.
and something else will be not as strong, right?
Right. Yes. Yes, we all have the universe inside of us. We just have some aspects that are more predominant, and but that doesn't mean that we cannot switch hats if we need to use any other aspect of our personality that is less predominant. I love that. I love that, and I love Carl Jung. I love him so much. Um, so, considering your area of expertise with this very particular approach that you use with the different typologies, we could say, what are the biggest challenges that women are facing that even though they do want to be in a relationship, they crave love and they really have an intense desire of sharing their life with somebody, with a great, not with somebody, with a great guy. What are the challenges that you have noticed over these years that they have? There are some like commonalities that you could pinpoint.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely. Yeah, and I'm actually going to connect to the first step, where you said like what are the steps, and I do have a whole system. There's like 5 steps, but the first one is really understanding, like starts with yourself. So I would say the first challenge is trying. So we so much of that we've been conditioned to kind of, you got to be this and you got to be that. So disconnecting from who we really are authentically, trying to be a little bit of everything.
mm-hmm,
When we trying to be a little bit of everything, then we're not being fully expressed in who we are. So we kind of disconnect from ourselves. We lose that connection. And from that place, when you don't even know what your type is, it's impossible to attract your most, and it's called in the system that I use, Enyo style, it's called dual partner, somebody who is different yet complementary.
mm,
So what happens is that we try, then it's sort of like putting a blindfold on. It's very random. We trying to be a little bit of everything. We might be choosing men who not even, you still of a certain type. And if you are choosing a man who is not compatible with you, it's going to be challenging. And we might then decide, well, I have to change myself or I have to change my partner. So all of us have a signs that uh, we it's not working. Like the relationship, like A relationship has to, like, if it's a right relationship, it's easy. It's a relationship where, in a dual relationship, it's easy to be together because you can't be 100% yourself. That is why I said you got to be authentic. So, not being connected to who you are is the biggest challenge. And then not choosing because you disconnect from yourself, you don't even know who to look for. It's another big challenge because so many women will look for this combination of a man who has everything, all of the qualities. And frankly, when I ask them, well, how long have you been looking for this man? Have you ever met this kind of man? The answer oftentimes, oh, most like pretty much that's why we're still single, is the answer is no.
Right.
And so looking for a man of four types, I call him four in one man. The four in one man doesn't exist. Nobody will have all the strengths and of all the types because some of that is mutually exclusive. So, for example, that North was very structured, very systematic, very predictable and reliable. They're
Yes.
not going to be as creative, spontaneous, unpredictable, so exciting and spontaneous as an East type. These are two different types of men.
Right.
And at certain points, like, yes, you want somebody who is very consistent when it comes to maybe planning dates, but when it comes to excitement on the dates, you want a completely different type. And
Right.
then at the same time, you might want to have a man who is very driven, ambitious, and masculine, which is all
Mhm.
West qualities. I'm a West type. But then at the same time, you want a man who is emotionally available and he gives you all of the attention and he's so caring, supporting, and loving. So
Right.
these are all the combination, right? And nobody has all of that in this perfection. Like you and I, we're not perfect. And so disregarding, dismissing, not even be aware of this uh, can be a huge challenge. It's sort of in the realm of like, I didn't even know that I didn't know that was an issue. And my mission is to empower women, open your eyes on like, you can absolutely solve for that. And you can actually you could be dating your whole life looking for a man who doesn't exist or dating somebody who's not even right for you.
Right.
And you can completely change all of that. The moment you shift your attention by simply being yourself and choosing your most compatible type of man.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. Paulina, how did you personally start this journey of being a love coach? I'm interested in your origin story. It takes a very special kind of woman to do what we do, I have found.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I would like to know, how did you get into doing this?
Yes. Yes. Of course, again, like I say, everything starts with us, our journey. So for me, it was my journey where I was always interested in relationships. And so when had my own version of Sex in the City when I moved to New York. And my first relationship, so I got divorced. It was like in my late 20s. And I felt like I've outgrown my partner. And I wanted to find a life partner with whom that relationship would work and it would last. So I moved to New York City and I was following all this dating advice that told me that I had to find somebody who was just like me
Oh my,
and just stronger, more ambitious. And I'm very driven and ambitious. I was pursuing, when I moved to New York, I was earning my second master's degree. And my goal was to work at the United Nations, which I got my internship and I did get a job there before I started my business. So I was reaching all of my goals, and I tried to date this very successful, ambitious, driven man in New York City.
mm-hmm.
And what happened over and over, that was man that I was attracted to. I was programmed by the general kind of dating advice industry. Man has to be masculine, successful, ambitious. Well, guess what? They were not attracted to me unless I put on this role where I was playing like I was really more in my East, like very kind of very feminine, easygoing, flexible, romantic, creative. Then
Right.
in reality, I am like, yeah, I could be that, but really I'm driven. I want to make impact. I want to like build my empire and all of that. And it didn't work. It didn't work over and over again. And I decided to do two things without learning the system yet, which I discovered later. I decided I'm going to be 100% myself. I'm not going to play on that role and put on that mask. And
Yeah.
two, I'm going to date outside of my type. I
Right.
would be open to a different type of man. And so when I met my husband, who is an East type and I'm West, so we're perfect for each other. We're dual partners, different yet complementary. What happened is that I was totally myself
Right.
and he was attracted to me. I didn't have
Oh,
to try to be this. I was just in my element, the like who I am, 100% authentic.
yes.
And it was very easy to be together. And so fast forward 15 years later, we have a 12-year, like he's going to be 12 soon, our kid. And we
Oh,
have an amazing connection, still relationship. Like you just gotta, check out my Instagram. Like I share our life every day, what's happening. And because it's such an inspiration. And the secret to that isn't that duality. And the secret is really, you, you cannot fake it. You cannot, this is sustainable unless it's authentic. It's easy to be yourself because you don't have to do anything. And what has worked for me inspired me so much. And I was wondering, I was really like, I want every woman to have this kind of ease in the relationship where you don't you're just lovable. You just are who you are, and you have a partner who loves and adores you for just simply who you are. When I started when I we got engaged, so in 1 year, it was my total shift. I quit with UN. I got engaged. I started my coaching business. I became certified, and we got married, and we had a baby. All of that happened in the span of literally 2 years.
wonderful. What a beautiful story. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing it. Thank you for
thank you.
sharing. It really encapsulates really well the foundation of your work in such a beautiful way. I so much like you encourage women to be themselves, to be authentic. Authenticity is key. It's key to be authentic. Otherwise, we can fake it, but for how long?
Exactly.
How
So
long?
yeah, and this is the interesting thing with authenticity. So authenticity and plus compatibility,
Right.
because you can be authentic
Yes.
and date the kinds of men who are like you, and something will be missing. How you know when you're not with a compatible person without learning anything about personality typing is that one of you is trying to change another person, like because something is missing, and we on a subconscious level need those qualities of our dual
Right.
partner. So
Right.
if we have too much of the same, like me being so driven, competitive, ambitious, there was a lot of confrontation or like that power struggle with that same West type of man. And it could be also that you have somebody who is not compatible, complementary, then you want them to be a certain way and they are not. And it creates the same issues over and over again. And it's sort of like you too much of this or you too much of that. So the very qualities that other men would say, you are too strong, you are too, like, you got to be more in your feminine. My husband thinks like you are your level of commitment. I adore how focused you are, how driven you are. That is just incredible. He like the same things, notice how you just again you can be yourself with the right person. Compatibility ensures that you can blossom in your relationship.
Right. Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Just like with flower.
I know. I love your blouses. I think I mentioned, I comment on your Instagram. I love your blouses. It's not the kind of comment you want to hear when you're giving advice on relationships, but I get those kind of messages too, like, "Oh, where did you get that necklace?" And I'm like, It's not the point. The necklace is not the point." But you dress so beautifully. I love, love, love you, following you on
Thank you.
Instagram. You make me laugh. Uh, you, you know, I feel like, oh my God, she's such a badass woman. That's pretty much what comes to me. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing your work with these ladies. It's different than what we are having in the summit. Nobody has talked about this. It's very particular, so I love it. There is anything else you would like to share with our audience?
Oh, sure. So, of course, follow me on Instagram at Polina Solda. I love sharing there. And for women, what I want to say is that I think so. My biggest value in my company and everything I do is empowerment. And so, what I want for every woman, and this is my whole approach, is that I teach the most powerful tools like using personality typing, where you learn it on your own and you can just type any person just by looking at their profile. And that is empowerment because you become your own dating coach, you become your own personal matchmaker. And one more tool that I teach, which I want to speak to just for a moment, because if you're thinking right now, oh, it sounds interesting, but I've tried so many times, like so many things, I've listened so much advice, or I've been dating for so long. Like, just notice that we get in our own way, in the way that if we just keep listening to our brain, it
Mhm.
will only offer us what it already knows. It will keep spinning in the same patterns based on what already happened in the past. So, what I also teach all of my clients, and the message that I want to leave you is that if you haven't been able to create what you want, if you've never experienced the kind of relationship that like I'm talking about, it's so easy, you can be together, like it just, you got to be yourself, and you're like, yeah, that sounds great, but like I never experienced that. Just because you haven't experienced something yet doesn't mean that it's not possible for you.
Mm,
And looking for that in your past, you're not going to find evidence for that because it's not there.
love it.
However, it absolutely exists as a possibility in your future. And so empowering. I teach all of my clients how to coach yourself, how to learn to think intentionally on purpose so that you create from the future. There's that version of you who already has that relationship. That is nothing you've ever experienced before. And how she got there is by thinking differently. So whatever thoughts that have you've been thinking, just notice that something else is available for you. You can think differently. And when you learn how to think differently, you actually can create different results. And I teach that too. So make sure we connect and you learn that because it will change your whole life. You can create
Ab-
anything you want from the future.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. That
You're
is
welcome.
priceless. That is priceless. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to stop looking at the rear view mirror if we want to keep moving forward, and having a coach, hiring somebody that has been there, that has the experience and the heart and the care and the education, the tools, will for sure speed up the process dramatically. So yes, yes.
Get you the results. That's what it's about. I'm very result oriented. So West type at how do we get to the next level? How do we get to that result is
Right.
that's my like that is the whole point. And so getting to the results that you want that you haven't been able to create before, you can create that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And also, I know you have a fantastic free gift for our ladies where they can start to get to know you better and work with your techniques a little bit more. Will you mind to share about your gift?
Yes, of course. So I have created a special mini, it's a video mini course where I go deeper. I teach, actually talk about some of the the biggest challenges, the biggest reasons why, so expand why for so many women it's been so hard, and the times we live in, and how to really the future of dating, how to approach it differently, and give some of my very powerful tools for thinking, learning how to think differently so that you can shift your experiences in dating, and of course, talking about personality typing. So everyone who is watching right now will receive access to this video mini course. And this is how we get to connect, and you learn more. And of course, I would love to welcome you into my world. So make sure you join and follow me on Instagram. I am there every single day at Polina Solda.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Polina. It has been a pleasure having you.
Thank